Alright guys, Court here, and in this video we're going to talk about how to configure a blog and make it work well with WordPress. This is how I do it every time, and I'm going to show you guys how it happens. So first thing you're going to do is log in. So you're just going to come to your blog, whatever your address is, .com or .net, whatever, /wp-admin. You should have remembered my information. It may prompt you for a username and password if it doesn't have it recorded or memorized. So you have to put that in, and then you'll end up on the same screen where I am right now, which is your WordPress dashboard. So now we're just going to go through some of the settings and talk about how we need it to be set up. So over here on the left, you're going to come down to Settings. It's going to load up the general settings. So on this screen, we actually don't really need to change anything. You can set the site title to whatever you want your site title to be. You can set your tagline as whatever you want that to be, but there's no configuration change to be made in this tab. So then we're just going to come to the Writing tab, and here in the Writing tab you just want to double check and make sure that you have this address in this box. It should be there, but I have had a few times where it wasn't there just because of the WordPress version I got for some reason. So you want to just make sure that's in there, because what that does is when you publish a post, WordPress notifies blog search engines that you have posted something, so that's a good thing. So just make sure that's there. Then you're going to come to Reading. And here in Reading, basically what this does is this is the settings for how your blog handles, stuff like how many posts appear on your homepage. So right now my blog only has 2 posts, this test blog. But what this setting is for right here, let's say we change this to 2. If we change that to 2, then it's going to make it so even if we had 10 posts, it would only show 2 on the home page. And I usually set this on most of my sites. I have this set to 4. If I have a site, I do have one site where my posts are really long, so I have it set to 2. Most of the time I have this set to 4. I still leave this set to 10 because in my feed, when people subscribe to me, I'm okay with that showing 10 there. But on my home page, I only want to see 4, so I change that usually to 4. And I show the full text in my feed. In some situations, people use summary, but I use full text, so that's just how I do it. Make sure this box is not checked. We definitely don't want to discourage search engines from indexing a site. We want them to find the site and index it. So if that's checked for some reason, uncheck that box. Then you can just go ahead and save the changes. I'm going to do that as well. And then we're done in the Reading tab. This stuff's all just set it and forget it. So we're done in there. We're going to come to Discussion. There are a few changes I usually make in here. Most of this stuff is set exactly how I like it to be. One thing that I don't like the one thing that I don't like about how it's set by default is this one right here. I don't want it to email me anytime someone posts a comment. My email is out of control, and I just really don't like that. So I actually don't like this one or this one. I don't want the blog to email me when that happens. When you're just starting out, you may want to know when people leave comments. I don't want to. I want to go and check for the comments when I want to actually do it, and when I'm in the mood to deal with that, which is not at the same time I check my email. So if you want to look over the comments before they actually publish live on the site, you can check this box right here. I don't. I just let them appear, as they come. I actually uncheck this one as well, because I don't care if they have a previously approved comment or not. I just want it to approve all of the comments automatically, and then I can go back in. If there's somebody whose comments I don't like, if I start to get spammed, then I deal with it, at that point. But I blacklist the person or whatever, so I uncheck it so that all the comments come through. This one I do like, hold a comment if it contains 2 or more links. And that's just because I don't want someone to come in and post a whole bunch of links. A lot of spam, they just come in and post hundreds of links, so I leave that. This stuff down here is the way I usually set it is I leave this the way it is. I come down and change this to the Gravatar logo because I like people to know that they can use Gravatar to get their little picture to show up on the site. That's another story altogether that we'll save for another day, but that's the way I set it up. Just come in and save the changes in here. Then we're done in here. The media tab we're not going to worry about. I don't change anything in that tab. I do make a change in the Permalinks tab, and this one is important. This one matters quite a bit. I don't like the default way they have it set. Usually when you install the WordPress now, it has it set up this way. And what that means is, so the actual web address of your blog post, if I just click into this blog post so I can check the address bar up here, you can see that this address has a date so the URL contains a date. I don't like that at all. I made the mistake I actually had a pretty popular site that was set up this way, and the problem I had was that a lot of times I like to go back and improve posts and rework them and republish them and bring them back to the home page. And the problem is if you show the dates, it's just going to always show the date that it was originally published. So let's say you had a post that was published clear back in 07. Well, but you updated it recently, like last week. So the problem with that is that it still looks like it's an old post from 2007, even though it's current and it's updated. So if someone is searching for you in Google and they see this URL show up in Google and they know that it's from 2007, that could affect people clicking in. And I don't like that. So, that's not going to be an issue today if you're starting a blog, but 2 years from now it might be. Next year it could even be an issue if someone's looking for stuff that's more up to date. So that can hold you back. So I don't like it set up that way. I prefer it to be set up where just the post name shows in the URL. And all you have to do, it's super easy. All you have to do is check this little circle and save the changes. And that's the only thing we're going to save in here, or change in here. So as soon as that's saved, then if we come back to our home page, I'm just going to refresh just to make sure that I get the new version. As you can see, if we click back into the post, the web address will change to where there's no dates. So now WordPress will just automatically do it this way. Every time I put up a post, it will build the URL, which is the location of that post, without the date. And that's how I like it, because I can go back and edit later and improve things. And it basically it looks like a brand new post instead of a post that's a few years old. So that's far superior in my opinion. Okay, one more thing that I always do every time I start a blog, every time I start a new site, I do this. I come into plugins and I come into add new, and I install a plugin that helps me with my SEO. And I used to use a plugin called All-in-One SEO, and it was great. It worked well. It did exactly what I wanted it to do. But I have recently discovered a plugin that I like even more, and it's called WordPress SEO. So you can just type that in and search for it. And the one we're looking for is the Yoast one. So WordPress SEO by Yoast. This is actually it, the first one right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and install this, and I do that by clicking Install Now. Are you sure you want to install this? Yes. It's going to take just a second, and then I'm going to activate the plugin. And we actually need to make some configuration changes to this plugin to get it working the way that I like it to work. And to do that, we're going to come down to this SEO tab right here. You're going to get this little pop-up. I actually just don't like them tracking my stuff, so I say do not allow. A lot of people use this plugin, so I assume they're getting all the data they need. I don't like them tracking my work. So here's how I use it. Once you get in, come into the dashboard. It's got some little tips here. If you want to subscribe to their newsletter, you can do this. I actually don't. I'm just going to close this out. So I don't do anything on this page. This is great how it is. Let's go into titles and meta, because I actually do make a few changes here. On this page I don't. This stuff's all great. This actually the plugin actually auto detects whether it thinks this box needs to be checked or not, and looks like in this case it doesn't, so I'm just going to leave it. I would recommend just leaving this whatever it's on. Then we're just going to come in here to home, and here in home I'm going to make a change. Let me explain to you how this works. So I'll show you what this is actually changing on your site. So if you were to do a search in Google for a term, like say, let's just look for, how about WordPress SEO. So any search you do, you're gonna see something very similar every time. You're gonna have the title up here, you're gonna have your URLs, and then you're gonna have like a description. Well, this plugin actually helps us, it allows us to control what is shown for our site in Google when people search for us. So we can actually control what is shown in this title, which is awesome. And we do that by using this field right here for our home page, and then there's a post types, different box where we can control that. So as of right now, this is a little command that allows the plugin to show my site name first. So that's going to show up first, and that's how I want it. This page is what I don't want to show up, so I'm just going to take this out. So I'm just going to delete that. This separator little command, we'll just put a little dash in, and then this is going to show my site description, which in my case is teaching people to use WordPress. So if I leave it like this, if someone found me in Google for my home page, this title right here would say Court's new blog first, then it would have a dash, then it would say teaching people to use WordPress. That's what would show up in this blue area right here. And that's how I want it. So this is how I'm going to leave it. So what I'm going to come down now and do is click Save Settings. So now I have the home page set up how I want. Then we're going to come into Post Types. And in here I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to take this page out. So now it's working on my posts, which is like this WordPress is awesome post. So in here, if someone found this by searching for WordPress is awesome or something similar, then it would put the title of the post in first. So same thing. First thing it would say is WordPress is awesome, and then it would put a dash, and then it would say my site name, which in this case is Court's new blog. And that's how I actually want it set up. And I want that, it gives me a few different options in here, and I want this set up this way on all of them. So I'm just going to copy this with my mouse, and I'm going to paste it in these other locations. So that's how I want it set up. Everything else is great. So I'm going to just save my settings. Now I'm going to come into taxonomies, and what that means is it's your archive pages, like your categories pages and your tag pages. So how do you want them to show up? And I actually want them to do the same thing minus this page. I'm just going to go ahead and take it out. And I'm going to just take it out of each one of these. And then I'm going to save that. So in here in other is where, so this is like, so author archives is like your author profile page that WordPress builds. And I'm actually not going to change anything in here. This is all good. I'm not worried about this. I'm just going to leave this. And that's it. So that's all we have to do with this in the titles and metas tab. But we're gonna now jump to XML sitemaps, because this is important. And I actually discovered in one of my other installs that this So basically, here's what an XML sitemap does. It's a page of your site that lists for Google all of the different URLs in your site. So if you have 100 posts and you have 10 category pages and you have 50 tag pages and you have an about page and you have terms and conditions page, so you have all these pages. You might have, 100 URLs, a couple hundred different locations on your site that a person can navigate to. We want Google to know where those all are, and an XML sitemap can help Google to find them all. So it's useful. However, this plugin, in one of my installs, when I set this up, I came and checked. So right here it says you can find your XML sitemap here. So this plugin generates the sitemap for you. But if I open that up in a new tab, yep, see the same thing happens. So it's not working right now. And for my other site, it didn't work until I came in and just saved the settings. I didn't change anything, but I just saved the settings. And then when I opened it up in a new tab, it worked. Yep, same thing this time. So you have to save to get it to work. And what that does is it just lists out. So as you can see, it's got 4 different sitemaps here listed out. And if we open them up, you can see what it looks like. So it's just listing the different URLs for Google so Google can find them. And that's useful. So you definitely want to do that. So get that set up, save the changes, and then really that's it. There are some optional things you can do if you get a bunch of comments that are spam comments and you want to deal with that. You don't want that to happen as much. You can activate Akismet, which is this plugin right here. You'll have to go to WordPress to sign up for an API key, which is it's an easy process. You just click this right here. If you're doing it for personal use, you can just sign up for free. You can donate if you want. If you're doing it for stuff that's not personal, like if you're doing a site for business, then you pay. And you pay. These are the prices that you pay. So what that plugin does is it has a huge database of comments that are spam. So it knows which comments are highly likely to be spam on your site. And if you install that plugin, then they won't show up as live comments on your site. They'll go to the spam folder instead. So it's a pretty useful plugin, for comments that you can use if you're getting a lot of spam comments. So that's a good one that you can use. But that's pretty much it. That's how I configure WordPress every time. There are, of course, other plugins and other functionalities that I use in some situations if there's a specific functionality that I need for a certain site. But every site's different from this point forward. But this is a great configuration, and it's just something you need to just come in and set at once, and now you can just forget about it. Your blog's set up right. You don't have to worry about something being wrong. You're not going to have some tragic thing in the future that you're going to wish you changed like I did, and it'll work well for you. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Get your site set up properly, and good luck to you, and hopefully I can look forward to interacting with you more somewhere, and hope you enjoy future videos. Take care, guys, and we'll talk to you soon.